Hello everyone and welcome! On the bench today, I've got what I think is one of the coolest ready-to-run RC models that you can buy, at least from an engineering perspective. It's even more impressive when adding in the fact that it's priced under $200 US. I never thought I'd enjoy driving around a stock-appearing Beetle out on the trails, but I'll tell you why I enjoy driving this thing so much, and why I hope to see more RC models like this in the future. Any skepticism is certainly understandable, but stay tuned and give me an opportunity to showcase this model and explain why I think it has set the bar real high for ready-to-run RC vehicle models in 2023. As with I believe all models from the RocHobby brand, it is unlicensed, but there's no mistaking this car for anything other than an early VW Beetle. The box lists a number of features, including a 2-speed transmission roughly matched to the first and third gear of the real car. It can shift between 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive from the transmitter, has openable doors, hood, and rear engine cover, functioning lights, metal gears, and a metal drive shaft. It sounds promising, especially at this price, so let's hope it's all well executed. RocHobby has once again delivered a great manual with lots of information about this model, as well as some nice exploded diagrams. I always appreciate the information, especially with these more detailed models, which have different light modes and shiftable transmissions and drag brake settings. It's nice to know what button does what. As has been a feature of I think all FMS products, we have a nice carrying case to keep the model safe while traveling. It's something I do a lot, so I really appreciate that. And here we can finally have our first look at the people's car. After mounting the front bumper and the horn, we can see this vehicle in all its glory. It looks great, lots of detail right out of the box. Everything opens, which is awesome. I love the detail under both the hood and the engine compartment. In front you'll find the included 2S LiPo battery and even a spare tire. In the back there's a nice amount of detail on that air-cooled engine, but some detail work with a little paint and weathering would really bring it to life. Speaking of bring it to life though, the belt does turn when you give it throttle. A very cool little detail, and that really is the theme for this vehicle. There's just tons of little details and stuff like this. The only way it could be even cooler is if this belt spun at idle. Another cool little detail are the door handles, which operate like the real thing. Also, probably the most satisfying door click of any RC vehicle I've ever seen. Inside you'll find a full interior with soft rubber seats that's suitable for 1/12 scale action figures. Also, since filming, I have realized that the black top can also be removed. In my opinion, looking underneath is almost as impressive as the top side of this vehicle. Again, some paint and weathering would look great down here, but check out the drivetrain layout and suspension. Very much reminiscent of the real thing, although beyond some versions used in the war, I'm not sure if this 4-wheel drive rear portal layout ever made it into a civilian Beetle like this one, but I really don't know much about these cars, so I could be wrong. Either way though, it's a very cool and very impressive setup. The suspension is also very well tuned for scale realism, as you'll see during the test drive. All around, some very cool engineering went into this model's creation. And at least in my opinion, anything that deviates from the ubiquitous 4-link mounted to a ladder frame is always cool to see, even if it means a compromise on off-road performance. This model will certainly appeal to the hobbyists who want to emphasize scale realism. While not as impressive as the model itself, there's nothing wrong with this basic 4-channel transmitter. Simple, but will certainly get the job done. This same transmitter can be found paired with other popular FMS models. You'll need 4 AAA batteries to power on the transmitter. Other items included with this vehicle are a wheel wrench and the included battery charger. Powering on the car for the first time, we can see the functioning lights, both in the front and back, as well as see the operation of the low and high speed gearbox and switching between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Channel 3 on the transmitter controls the gearbox with low, neutral, and high, while channel 4 toggles through the lights, and also pressing and holding the channel 4 will toggle between 2 and 4-wheel drive. Alright, so all that's left to do now is take it out on the trails. The Beetle is a lot of fun to drive if you're really into scale off-roading. The first thing I noticed was how real looking the suspension is. It really doesn't transfer that well on camera, but at times the way this suspension moves and bounces when driving along paths is really impressive, especially for how small and relatively lightweight the car is. Is the car super capable off-road? No. Ground clearance, approach and departure angles, tires and suspension travel are not setting any records here, and don't forget this car has open differentials. Is it as capable as it needs to be to have fun and deliver the kind of performance you can reasonably expect from something designed to be as scale as this? Absolutely. For a hardcore scale nerd like myself, the driving experience in this is every bit, if not more fun than any other crawler or trail truck I have in my fleet. You'll definitely need to put it in low gear to make it over a lot of obstacles. Much like the real thing, this RC model isn't exactly overflowing with power. With that said though, if the trail is easy, you can slap it in high gear and two-wheel drive, and it will keep up with you as you're walking along. Shifting was reliable and never presented any issues. The steering servo also seems to be plenty strong. Also, you can't really tell from this footage, but the taillights do actually function as they should. They light up when hitting the brakes, and they can also remain on at a slightly dimmer setting when the headlights are on, just as they would in real life. This is a much better setup than on prior FMS models, so kudos to them for that. My conclusion is pretty simple. This vehicle is for those who love scale RC models and who are obsessed with realism and lifelike performance. If that's you, this is one model you'll at least want to consider adding to your collection. It is very impressive, especially for the price. And of course, this is a classic Beetle, so there's tons of potential for a custom build. Maybe a hot rod, a dune buggy, a hippie Beetle, there's tons of potential. Now, of course, for those who aren't totally obsessed with scale realism though, well, don't expect this rig to win any comps. The relatively complex and not exactly easy to access drivetrain of this model isn't something you're going to want to be running on the edge every time you go out and drive. If you want to blend some of the elements that you see in this model, mainly the detailed hardbody, portals, and 2-speed transmission, but you want something more durable and far more capable off-road, check out the FMS FCX24 crawler. It's really hard to find much to nitpick with this latest release. From the appearance to the experienced driving, it just seems very well thought out and well put together, and pretty unique overall. Honestly, I'd love to see more models with the same level of detail in the future. I guess it would be cool to see this model be available in some brighter, glossier colors, although this paint job is kind of growing on me. Well, we didn't have to wait very long in the new year to see an awesome new release. I wonder what's in store for the rest of the year. If this is any indication, it should be good. Thanks everyone for watching. If you'd like to order one of these models for yourself, I have included some links below in the description to where these can be ordered. Be sure to stay tuned for more content on the way, but until then, thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.